4 games on the Sunday slate of MLS Next Pro opens from Highland Heights, Kentucky. FC Cincinnati 2 aim to escape their 3-game slide, while New England Revolution are unbeaten in May and look to keep their rhythm in the opening match in June. MLS Next Pro match week 14 is at NKU Soccer Stadium. Hello and welcome, I'm Ryan Lee. Thank you for joining us. We're right outside of Kentucky as we are aiming to start match week 14 of MLS Next Pro. 4 games on the slate today, 2 from the East, 2 from the West. And with no MLS teams in action, there's been a lot of change-ups for both rosters, both in terms of not only this game individually, but in MLS Next Pro in its entirety. And when we take a look at what FC Cincinnati are shuffling around with, because they don't have that availability, they have Niang up top as one of the 2 forwards, one of 2 with only multiple goals on the team. Fletcher is listed as a first-teamer, but he is 1 year removed from an ACL injury. This is his last match since he tore his ACL last June. Arena and Mosquera enter the midfield. Both Lachiker and Lasher are rookies. They joined by Kiesel and Hurtado, who are the only 2 multi-year players on the roster today. And in between the pipes is Connor Dale, the 15-year-old who is making his next pro debut. For Reds 2, 4-3-3, they'll go for Pablo Moreira. Da and Morgan are in the center of their respective lines, both of which have played in all 12 matches. They would be added by Oyerwath, but he is on red card suspension after taking one last time against Crown Legacy. 2 Academy products are on the back line with McNish and Prajapati on the right side with Max Weinstein in goal. He is back for his first game in year 5 with Revs 2. We make our way to the middle of NKU Soccer Stadium. FC Cincinnati 2 and New England Revolution 2. 2 relatively opposite ends of the Eastern Conference table come to clash in Northern Kentucky for Pablo Moreira and New England Revolution. There's a whole logjam of teams currently occupying within the top 8 of the MLS Next Pro table. Number 8 is currently occupied by New England, but you go all the way up to number 4 with Atlanta. Everyone in that jumble up is tied at 22 apiece. Only 1 point behind a top 3 team in Columbus Crew 2. And for New England Revolution, if they can get a win today, that would jump them up to 25 points, putting them tied in a 2-3 match with Red Bull New York 2, with Crown Legacy continuously leading the way, having that 5-point cushion on Red Bull. As for Cincinnati, it's all about trying to get back into the picture. To get into the top 8, they'll have to make up 13 points worth of ground. And for a Cincinnati team that has been on a slide, they'll need to take everything that they can get, where all of their points have come within the confines of NKU. They are still winless on the road. So for the intents and purposes of Cincinnati, their best possibility to at least claw their way back into the playoff picture is to take care of business at home, where we will make our way towards the center of NKU Soccer Stadium. FC Cincinnati will start with the ball. They go left to right in the all-blue. On the all-white, right to left, will be New England Revolution. As Ryan Lee and our entire MLS Next Pro crew, thank you for joining us at NKU Soccer Stadium, where it is the current 14th place FC Cincinnati and New England Revolution currently within the top 8, but they are tied with 5 other teams at 22 points apiece, spanning from 4th place Atlanta to 8th place Revs. Flipping it to the outside, Jaden Smith couldn't get around Hurtado, and that allows Cincy to recoup. Only momentarily, however, else it's back to New England on the toss. It's been a really interesting couple of years for New England, because not just their MLS Next Pro side, but their MLS sides weren't necessarily the most connected in ways, because the Next Pro side was having some relative success, while the first team maybe not so much. but also for Revs too. They had a big turnaround from 2024 to 2025, where they went from amongst the bottom to amongst the top in the Eastern Conference, 15th place in 2024 in Next Pro, but last year climbed all the way up to third, and they're just outside of that similar third place slot, only a singular point behind Columbus Crew, who are in third in the conference. Darlene wanted to lead the way, was well short. And a little bit of the back and forth will result in a whistle. Cincy were about a mile offside, as they've really had to work through their various issues. Smith by the corner, lost control. And this will be played back towards Cincinnati's net. And it will be the first opportunity for us to meet Connor Dale, who starts between the pipes for Sammy Castellanos. 15 years old, making his MLS Next Pro debut. He is a current USA international at the U16 level. And for Dale, he'll probably be looking forward to the end of the month, where not only it's his birthday, but maybe a chance to start his driving experience. As that was the attempted drive by Mosquera, cut off by Darlene. Weinstein keeps it moving for New England. Intercepted, and a deep try will go right to Weinstein. Great effort from outside the box by Sui Wu Niang. Niang, the 19-year-old from Senegal, giving that a go from distance. And they might need to look for some of that offensive inspiration due Cincinnati, considering that they are 12 goals in 11 matches, is the second lowest mark across all of MLS Next Pro. An offense that has largely been starved just out of sheer lack of opportunities. They have the fewest shot attempts, and because they're not even getting shot attempts, it's also resulted in the second fewest shots on target. And the goal scoring has suffered also. It's hard to ask for goals or shots on target when you don't even have shot attempts. But that's all about part of the building process for Sammy Castellanos. Really trying to ensure that these guys grow into what FC Cincinnati want to do in the long run, even if it does mean maybe a step back for the Next Pro side. As Cincy operate the far sideline. Lasher moved it forward, but couldn't keep it in, was Charlie Holmes. Holmes was offside anyways. A very similar makeup of the back lines for both Cincinnati and New England. They have two multi-year players and two newcomers each. As it'll be New England's to be tested. Christian Fletcher up the gut, took some contact from Zambrano, and it'll draw a free kick to Cincy. No yellow card out of the pocket of our head official, Deborah De Silveira Madrera. As this is a nice little collection by Christian Fisher, just took some of the contact from Zambrano from behind. And Fletcher was the one who drew the contact. He is the one who sets it down. Fletcher about 1 week shy of a full year removed from an ACL injury that he took when he was with DC United last year. Comes to Cincinnati this year, steps up for the opening free kick. A half dozen minutes in. Here's Fletcher to goal, took a ricochet, but it is Weinstein to collect. Another try goes wide as Cincinnati, they've been putting some pressure on New England early on. A Cincinnati side that has struggled to generate its offense, and this is just a very simple rookie mistake right in the feet of Niang. But you could also argue that maybe Niang took a little too long to get that shot ready. Shewoo Niang, one of two players on the Cincinnati roster with multiple goals in Next Pro, the other one being Stefan Schirilla, a listed first-teamer. As Schirilla is unavailable for today's game, part of that due to the first team's break in their season. Leading the way, going for Morgan, and it maintains possession to New England. Probably one of the more interesting discussion we had with the coaches was how the currently ongoing World Cup break for the first team has its effect on the second team. And pretty much both coaches said more or less it's not going to change too much in the grand scheme of things, but one thing that it does change is the personnel that's available to you. As pretty much anyone who came in as a first teamer will get that first team break alongside the MLS side. But they do have the option to come back a little early and train, maybe play some games with the second team before the first team resumes play. So that kind of adds some extra wrinkles in its entirety. And when you also added the mix of the MLS Next Cup just a few weeks back and how those academy products can get their opportunities as well, it really puts a big spotlight on the young guys for not just these two franchises, but you can assume a couple more might have a similar philosophy as well, considering that MLS freeze applies to the entire league, but Next Pro will continue playing throughout that stretch. And that'll be a big test for not just the coaches, but the players who can take those opportunities if they're allowed to have them, and who's going to run with it. Currently, it's Dylan Hurtado down the sideline, looking for Mosquera, but a great slide to deny. You have Shannon and McNish centering the defensive unit for Pablo Moreira as it slid, still loose, and recovered nicely by Lasher. Revs recover. Back to the middle, poked out. And it'll stay well deep in front of Cincinnati's goal. It'll be Marco Zambrano to take the opening corner for New England. Since you had their major threatening opportunity about 4 minutes ago on a free kick. First major stoppage to New England. Outward. Outside, Smith is in, still loose. New England want a handball, they're not gonna get it. But it will go back to the Revs for a corner again. Back-to-back corners on the far end. Swung out again. Darlene couldn't get it through. Smith locates it before it makes its way back towards Dale. Cincinnati having about a 2-week layoff since their last match against NYCFC to cap off a less than ideal month of May rather, as it's tight-roped inside. Attempted centering feed, but it was a big swing and a miss. Revs are able to recover. It showed some brilliant individual effort there by Cincy, but they weren't able to capitalize when that was all said and done. Still scoreless through the opening dozen. New England Revolution 2 having their second undefeated month of the season as it's dislodged. A chance for Cincy into the area. It's Holmes. He's blocked. Follow up from Fletcher, couldn't get through. But Cincy will at the very least halt the progress of Aaron Prajapati. Prajapati is one of the two returning defenders on this starting unit for New England. The other one being Gabe Darlene, each of whom are in their second season. The two centering the defensive line, Sheridan McNish and Jake Shannon, both in their first seasons with the Revs. For Sheridan McNish, Trinidad and Tobago Youth International, the soon-to-be Penn State Nittany Lion. And Jake Shannon, a lot of experience in the NCAA, 22 years of age. As it's a rolling ball, Jared Smith. Smith cuts inside. Blocked out. Sullivan clears. New England knocking at the door. Laid across, too high. You had Da in the region with Wells. Neither could receive. But New England will stay with it. On the outside, Makai Wells interrupted nicely as Cincinnati can't keep it for long as the ricochet goes wide, and this should draw another corner to New England. That's 3 in about the last 5 minutes. New England unbeaten through 5 games in May, 3 wins and 2 games going to PKs where they split those 2 PK decisions. Got the extra point last time out against Crown Legacy. Swung through again, still locating. Bouncer held before it's ripped well high. It was a 2-2 match against Crown Legacy last time out for Revs, where New England did get the second point. Too bad for Revolution 2, or Yearwoth got a red card only 1 minute into the second half, where they did have to play the entire second 45 shorthanded, man. And held on, all things considered. They had a 2-1 lead going into the half in that game, New England, and they only allowed 1 goal to Crown Legacy. So at the very least, take those 2 points away from Matthews. And that just capped off an exceptional month for New England. They opened and closed it with draws and the 3 regulation wins in between. Da dislodged. Around for Prajapati, unable to link up with Da. He's got it alongside Smith. Sakara Leaves it. Couldn't get it through. This portion of the match is brought to you by First Financial Bank, the official bank of FC Cincinnati. This is a New England side, not very known for their offensive prowess, a very defensively led team, considering how they have really shut teams down no matter where they've gone. Fewest number of shots towards their goal, and because of that, they've allowed the third fewest goals in the season. And when talking to Pablo Moreira about this team's identity, what they've been able to do, it's just about the execution they've done in training, especially with maybe the lack of goals in their attack. They are at least getting chances. Some of the underlying numbers, like the build-up and the box entries, have been there. And that's something that you can take away from that at the end of the day, as it's taken away by Wells. Shakes off his man, took out Kiesel. Wells to center, couldn't get the ricochet through as Morgan was on the doorstep. It stays with New England. Putting it all together is the final piece of the offense that Pablo Moreira is looking for the first time head coach of Revs 2 after nearly a dozen years with the first team as an assistant. And the possession will get flipped Cincinnati's way. Coming off of 3 straight losses, where they only scored a singular goal within that 3-game stretch. That was in their 3-1 loss to Chattanooga FC, which was also the last time they were here at NKU. Revs are back. Try from the angle, not there. Prajapati the attempt. And if you take their final 3 games of the May slate for Cincy, it really hasn't been what they wanted it to be. Shut out twice within those 2 matches, both of which they're 2 road games. 4-0 on the road to Huntsville, 2-0 on the road to NYCFC. And even the 1 game that they were here in that final 3-game stretch of May, it was a 3-1 loss to Chattanooga FC. It's only 1 goal scored across the last 3 matches, while 9 goals have been allowed, but they've held on scoreless. Chip in the box, clipped up by Zambrano. The pivot, too far to Wells, back to Dale. But the one silver lining maybe for Cincinnati as they try to climb their way out of this early season hole is pretty much all of their points have come here at NKU. All 3 wins have come here, but also their 2 losses across their 5 matches. And they could potentially take advantage of a New England side that have not been very tested yet on the road. Only 4 games, dead at 500, 1-1-2. But at the very least, for New England's intents and purposes, they could be having those road tests more frequently. Those road matches a little more backlogged in the August to September slate. What a move by Zambrano. Smith is chasing, but interrupted by Lachiker to force the whistle. Niang can't get to it. Smith alongside with Shannon. Shannon, one of the 2 goal scorers against Crown Legacy last time out. Smith lays it off for Zambrano. Carlos Zambrano came in from Real Monarchs of the Western Conference as he draws contact on David Mosquera. One time these two have played so far this year, that was back on March 15th, where New England got a 2-1 win from Cincinnati back then, and that was a really interesting game, especially with how things panned out. It was a back-to-back sequence where Cincinnati and Charlie Holmes would get the game-tying goal in the 86th, but 1 minute after, it was an own goal for Cincy. Maybe they can get one here as Fletcher bangs into 3 bodies and can't escape through. As possession goes back to New England, this portion of the match is brought to you by Mercy Health, the official healthcare provider of FC Cincinnati. About halfway through the opening 45, still nothing on the board yet as Da chases down, but it's caught by Dale. And like we mentioned before, no first teamers available for either side as they will take the respective break alongside the MLS teams. And that even changed up the complexion of some of the key positions, like in goal for both sides. Guys like Brian Dowd and Fabian Morozek for FC Cincinnati, or even J.D. Gunn and Donovan Parisian of New England being amongst the many unavailable. The Shirillas for Cincinnati in that mix also. Cincinnati wanting to go quick, but couldn't deliver towards Mosquera. Mosquera had a lane had he been able to receive that last pass. Mosquera has started 7 of 8 so far this year. Recovers back for Cincy. Eyes on Darlene. Centering feed. Niang. Barely got it off the defender, so it will be Cincinnati with their first corner, a place where they're not very accustomed to, considering they have the fewest amongst the league. But they'll take their first opportunity. Only 3 registered attempts for Cincinnati. They do have the 1 on target in this game, period. They'll send it down, end to end. Fletcher to goal, just too high, but a nice attempt with eyes on the 6'1" Sammy Lachiker. First-year pro, first-team All-SoCon last year from UNC Greensboro is Sammy Latchiker, who was on the receiving end, trying to find a way to get your first-teamer involved. With all the first-teamers taking the first-team break, you have to find the one that can produce an opportunity like that. From Christian Fletcher, the first-teamer who is 1 week shy of a full year out of commission because of an ACL he took when he was with DC United last year. Smith dancing through, outside he goes. Prashpati has Wells. New England holds up play. Darlene. But things will get blown dead once again. As seemingly a foul against David Mosquera will give a free kick opportunity to the Revs. Deborah Madera, Christian Little, Christopher Slane, and Alex Beeler are the crew in yellow today. Our head official, Deborah Madera, directing traffic as Carlos Zambrano gets ready for the attempt. Zambrano, the service is not there. No one in white to receive. It returns to Zambrano, where Revs will reset. This portion of the match is brought to you by Allegiant, the official airline partner of FC Cincinnati. Neither team have been relatively flying on the offensive side of the ball. Has been one of the Achilles heels of both of these teams. For Cincy, their offense is the second to lowest in the MLS Next Pro ranks, while for New England, they are still very much in that bottom third, as that attempt is well wide. You could actually technically argue that New England's in the bottom corner, considering their 14 goals scored in 11 matches is the 7th least of the 30 teams in Next Pro. And for New England, nothing really crazy going on there. Just haven't really had the opportunities, that final touch, especially in some of the run of play, because they have had some of the overall quality, just haven't really dealt with it. Takedown outside the area, they'll let it fly. Kiesel. And Cincy hold up play as they enter the half an hour, still scoreless. That went right to Sequeira, turning around. Here comes Morgan, back to the middle. Zambrano stuck in the shuffle by his feet. Darlene keeps it deep for New England. Sequeira slithering through. Darlene. Darlene back and forth with Sequeira on this near side. Moves past Mosquera. No one in the middle, except for the barricade in blue. Ravs will take it back, but it's right through Jaden Daw. Holmes creating the lane to Fletcher. Fletcher in the area, tight ropes the line. Couldn't make its way towards Weinstein as it goes off the defender to the corner. And we will have a hydration break. 30 minutes into this match. It is a blistering 85-degree day here at Highland Heights, Kentucky. FC Cincinnati and New England Revolution still scoreless through the opening 30 minutes. And like we mentioned in the open, 4 games in the MLS Next Pro slate for match week 14. 2 games in the Eastern Conference, 2 of them in the West. And of the other games, you actually have some relatively similar circumstances, all things considered. As Orlando City B are still very much in the mix of things in the Eastern Conference playoff race. They were amongst the whole flurry of teams who were tied at 22 points with New England. Only 1 point behind number 3 Columbus, only 3 points behind second place Red Bull New York. And very similar to FC Cincinnati, Carolina Core, Orlando's opponent, sitting at 9 points entering the evening. So kind of a unintentional mirroring of the 2 matches between this one and the one later between OCB and Carolina. 22 points apiece for New England and OCB, and 9 points apiece between Cincy and Carolina, both of which are trying to keep their distance from the current cabooses of the Eastern Conference. That's the 4 points by Inter Miami 2, who are the only team in the East without a win of any sort. Carolina have been able to get to this point because they have 5 draws in their mix. And then 2 games on the nightcap. You can enjoy those after this game ends at 8 o'clock. Should be right around the time that this game wraps up. San Jose and Real Monarchs, both of them a singular point apart on either side of the playoff line. LAFC 2 and Austin still chasing number 1 Dynamo Dos and St. Louis City atop the West as we restart here at Cincinnati, where they'll have the corner. Inward, headed, still loose, it bounces towards Weinstein. A nice corner effort by Cincinnati, goes nowhere. But at the very least, they're showing something. The first header was a battle with Kiesel and Shannon, and then the follow-up couldn't find its way through on Mosquera's head. Sullivan played it ahead towards Mosquera before Hurtado cuts his man down. Also keep in mind that, at least for New England's intents and purposes, if they do get some ground made up on Columbus Crew, Columbus will have their chance to respond, as Crew 2 and CT United play tomorrow afternoon, midday, 3 p.m. as part of the closeout to match week 14. Another Western Conference game also at 8 p.m. tomorrow with Minnesota and SKC2. As Fletcher laterally back to the middle again, just too high. Fletcher recovers. Fletcher's cross off a body, out of play, Corner to Cincy. Give credit to FC Cincinnati, too. They have been in lockstep with New England so far. Only one fewer shot attempt, but they have both shots on target in this match. The last one came in the prior corner, and this is their third. Back post, away. Hurtado, the man back. Back in the jumble, Niang chops it down, Holmes outside. Lasher the try, back in, it's loose, and Weinstein locates it. Under 10 minutes to go in the opening half. Touch back. Hurtado interrupts Wells. But Wells will take a free kick. They go quick. Back in play. Zambrano loads up, and it's going to be a bouncer towards Connor Dale. New England Revolution 2 in a 22-point jumble up in the Eastern Conference, spanning from 4th to 8th. FC Cincinnati 2 trying to escape their 9-point tie with Carolina Core. Still scoreless. Just over 5 minutes left in the half. And that is just given up by Jared Smith. Smith, 23-year-old on the left side of New England's formation, actually has some experience at left back as well, but is playing as a left side wing forward, the former Seton Hall Pirate, who actually was a transfer from Quinnipiac. Played near side, Mosquera. Darlene, the roadblock. And things get blown dead regardless. A really interesting week coming up for MLS Next Pro, especially with the midweek matchups. We mentioned the 2 games on Monday, including Columbus and Connecticut squaring off at 3 p.m. tomorrow. And then the 1 game on Wednesday with Vancouver Whitecaps 2 in North Texas. What a ball outside. Wells, all alone. Wells takes the challenge of Lasher. Rachista Prachpati. Zambrano. Back from Da. Zambrano couldn't feed it forward. Jared Smith. Darlene. The Swedish back plays it. Da back to Smith. Basically a triangle offense between those 3, Da, Smith, and Darlene. Zambrano assists. He gets it across, way too high for Morgan. but just right to Dale. USA Youth International at the U16 level. He turned 16 at the end of the month. David Mosquera, the Colombian. Fletcher. Holmes has it. He lost control, but was it by his own doing? It was by the contact from Aaron Prajapati, another corner to Cincy. Inside, headed, pushed out by Weinstein, and this will be another Cincinnati corner. But Cincy were right there had it not been for Max Weinstein. This is an excellent play, an even better save. Curled in, and the header was right on by Sullivan. But Weinstein having to come all the way across the full right to full left to get any part of his hand on that. Back to back for Cincy. Way back and way out. 2 minutes left in the half. A wind up from range is way beyond goal. Gotta appreciate the attempt by David Mosquera. Mosquera yet to find a goal contribution this year through 9 games played, 8 starts. The desired foul is not coming for Cincy. One of the more interesting conversations we had with Pablo Moreira in the midweek was his coaching philosophy and where it kind of comes from. Even though his dad was a soccer legend in Uruguay and he's a soccer coach, Miles Morgan's offside there. His upbringing in the Cleveland area, and actually talked about how some of the different coaches in that area in Cleveland sports at the time was actually part of his inspiration with coaching. As Holmes shuffles back, shakes off McNish. Top of the box, and nice recovery by the Revs. It's still loose. As Smith got out of that mix. LJ Lowe, a part of that conversation with Pablo Moreira. You also had Bernie Bickerstaff, some of the longtime coaches in the Cleveland area, especially with the Cavaliers, how that overall defensive side of things was part of how he wants to draw up his teams, the overall togetherness that they have. And just being able to dominate both on and off the ball, especially with the pressure they can create. They've done it successfully to hold off Cincinnati scoreless, but haven't gotten a goal themselves. Only a single shot on goal themselves are New England. 2 bonus minutes for the opening half. Prajapati settles down. Back in the middle, you had options, but neither could receive. Darlene keeps that in the half. Zambrano aims for Wells. Booted away by Cincy. And it's back for Sheridan McNish, who is set to be a Penn State Nittany Lion come the fall, as there is a whistle on that fall. Sakara back on his feet. Maybe a final push for New England to get one before the break. No, there won't be, as that will be where we end the first half, exactly how we began, with no goals on the board, 45 plus here at NKU Soccer Stadium in Highland Heights. Halftime is next. We go coast to coast with a pair of player profiles, highlights, schedules coming up after the break.
They say the world's game is played everywhere. This is how we play it here. Every weekend across North America. From Vancouver's mountain rain to the shores of Florida. From the city of angels to the heartland. The world's brightest stars light up our fields. Let's go. And our fans bring the world to life. In every language, in every city. One game, one roar. Sold out nights under lights. New soccer citadels rising from coast to coast. Every chant, every goal. Another brick in a growing relief. Now, the world's biggest stage comes to our home. And when they arrive, they'll find the game's heartbeat has been here all along.
Back at NKU Soccer Stadium in Highland Heights, Kentucky. Scoreless through 45 minutes of play. We make our way to the Tar Heel State to meet one of the key parts in Carolina core, Anthony Sumo, and after that we go back to an earlier portion of the season where we go to LAFC's Brian Moyato.
I just love to score goals. I just love to make the fans happy. I just love to see other people smile.
Sumo Jr. slaloming through, and that's just staggering from Carolina core. Sumo Jr. trying to head it along. Sumo Jr. tucks it in, and it's headed down and past Juan Rojas. Anthony Sumo Jr., the breakthrough.
Growing up in Liberia, I grew up just watching people play at a high level. Like my dad played for the Liberian national team. All his brothers, they all play for the Liberian national team. My uncle, all my uncles, everybody that I grew up around, George Weah, they all play at a very, very high level, and my eyes was open to it at such a young age. And just talking about it makes me passionate because football was the only thing they had, and it helped change their life. and it helped change my life. So they all just helped push me.
Growing up around the game gave Anthony an early love for it. But there was one person he always aspired to be like.
When you're very young, you just play for fun. You just have fun. Every time you see a ball, it's like it releases all your troubles, all your problems, and you're just playing and just enjoying yourself and having fun. So I never really pay attention to being a professional soccer player, but I knew I always wanted to be like my dad. And I always wanted to be like him personality-wise, and how he raised me, how he grew up, the amount of integrity he had, and how he respect other people. And those are the things that I wanted to be like first before I even thought about being anything else.
When Anthony moved to the United States with his mom and sisters, life changed quickly.
Migrating from Liberia to the United States, me and my mom and two little sisters, it was very interesting at first because we never really thought about moving to a different country and changing our life, leaving our families behind, and just leaving a lot of things. So just migrating over here and coming to the U.S., we faced a lot of adversity, and my mom, she had to go through the mud to work every day, 2 or 3 jobs, just for us to have the opportunity that we have today. I give thanks and glory to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, because without him, I wouldn't be in the situation that I'm in today, because I think he gave me the strength and the courage to keep driving, to keep striving every day, because life is not as easy as you think it is.
No matter where he was, the game always felt the same to Anthony. It was the place where he felt most like himself.
My dad always tells me that. He always tells me, you was born to be a professional football player, or you was born to be a football player. No matter where you play at, football is still the same. Whether you play in mud, you play on sand, it's still the same. It never changed. So for me, whenever I step into any environment, whenever I step into anywhere, I just pray to God for him to shine his light through me so I can be able to do what I love.
We're not able to get it through, and a quick counter for Sumo. Gets a shot and scores! Sumo strikes back for Carolina!
Carolina Core gave Anthony an opportunity. That trust is something he carries with him every time he plays.
Carolina has changed my life, and they were the first club to give me the opportunity to achieve my dreams, and I'm just grateful and thankful. That's why every time I step onto the field, I want to give everything that I can for this club and for the fans and everybody else.
My name is Brian Mollado. I play for LAFC 2, and my position is center defensive mid.
For Brian Mollado, wearing the black and gold has been more than a dream. Growing up in Los Angeles, Brian found more than just a club. He found a home.
It means a lot. Growing up here in LA, this is a club that gave me a lot of opportunities, and which I'm really grateful for. Not only me, but my family. We're really grateful for this club, and it means a lot to me. You know, just wearing this badge every day, coming into the facilities every day, it just gives you that energy to work hard and just keep on progressing every day.
From the academy to the professional stage, Brian has grown with LAFC, on the field and off of it.
This club changes you a lot. It matures you at a young age for sure. I had a big injury 2 years ago, so I feel like that injury for sure made me more mature outside of the field. And also just the staff here for sure they push you outside of the field to be your better self.
That growth soon turned into recognition. Brian was named to the inaugural MLS Next All-Star Game in 2022.
You play with all the best from MLS Next, so it was a fun game. I had a lot of fun. It just gives you that encouragement to keep on pushing. And, you know, I told myself, you're doing great, but the job is not done. So just keep on pushing.
And in 2023, Mollado achieved a milestone that meant everything, his professional debut.
It meant a lot, not only for me, but for my family. We were very grateful for that opportunity that LAFC gave me. And that only meant one step closer, which was getting to the first team level. So it just motivates you to keep on working. It was a big accomplishment.
As a player, Brian prides himself on keeping things simple, dictating tempo, and doing the work that often goes unnoticed.
The way I would describe my game is, I mean, it's pretty simple. I keep it simple. I don't like to be too flashy. You know, 1-2 touches. I give some, I guess, tempo to the game. If we gotta play quick, then we'll play quick. If we gotta keep it calm, then we'll play calm.
What I like about Brian is that he's someone that has dealt with adversity. He's been through the injury process and has worked himself back to really good rhythm. He has a vision and really links us up in the midfield position to progress the ball in our possession progression. He's a hard worker and very good professional.
Moyado's journey has also included the honor of representing the U.S. on the international stage.
It was amazing, man. Those are good memories, memories that you never, take for granted. It was great opportunities. It gives you exposure not only from here from LA, but from all over the world, and it meant a lot for me. Just putting that badge on for the first time, it just gives you that energy to represent your country at the top level and give it your all every game. I feel like just the intensity of these training camps is just so high. Everything is just so intense that you're always at your 100%. Bringing that into this environment back not only helps me, but also helps my teammates.
Through it all, Brian remains grounded, humble, hardworking, and focused on enjoying every step.
Back to Highland Heights, where it is halftime between FC Cincinnati 2 and New England Revolution 2. Plenty to talk about through 45 minutes of play, despite the lack of a scoreline. But before we get to what has a potential setup of an exciting second half, we take a look at what is ahead throughout the rest of MLS Next Pro and take a zoom out beyond what is happening here in Cincinnati. We mentioned this one in the middle of the broadcast. 3 games in the midweek. We have the 3 o'clock matchup between Crew 2 and CT United, Minnesota United, and Sporting Kansas City on Monday, and another Western Conference clash between Whitecaps 2 and North Texas. For Columbus, they are awaiting eagerly as New England have the chance to tie them with a point or surpass them with a win. In any fashion, that is. And for CT United, trying to maybe stave off the potential build-up for Cincinnati as we get back to what's been happening here at NKU with our halftime highlights through 45 minutes of play. A lot of action so far when you really consider things. That is, there's 11 shots total, and you have the 1 shot advantage to New England. And then you have 3 on target where you have the advantage going to Cincinnati in that department. But Cincinnati also has the benefit of having the 5 corners that have really allowed them to aid their attack and at least generate something. But between them and New England, nothing has beaten either Connor Dale or Max Weinstein yet. But maybe opportunities when we come back for the second half kickoff here at NKU.
They say the world's game is played everywhere. This is how we play it here. Every weekend across North America. From Vancouver's mountain rain to the shores of Florida. From the City of Angels to the Heartland. The world's brightest stars light up our fields. Let's go. And our fans bring the world to life. In every language, in every city. One game, one roar. Sold out nights under lights. New soccer citadels rising from coast to coast. every chant, every goal, another brick in a growing relief. Now, the world's biggest stage comes to our home. And when they arrive, they'll find the game's heartbeat has been here all along.
On the cusp of the start of the second half between FC Cincinnati 2 and New England Revolution 2. No goals yet to be found on the board, but there will be a change being made to start the second half of play. Maybe potential attacking reinforcements for Pablo Moreira as Cristiano Carlos comes into the match, listed as a forward. For the center back who will make his exit, Sheridan McNish. And there could be a change also for Sammy Castellanos, as you have Chance Malillo standing alongside the fourth official. So this is a change-up for both sides. Christian Fletcher, a year removed from his ACL injury, got at least 45 minutes of action in this game. So it is Malillo for Fletcher. And then you have the forward Cristiano Carlos replacing Sheridan McNish in the back. Two academy products will get their respective minutes in. For Carlos, 18 years old, Portuguese-American from the Revs Academy, set to go to Fairfield in the fall. And then Chance Malillo, 16 years old from the Congo, another wing forward. He's from Cincinnati's academy. And for Malillo, this will be his second game of the year, as all changes are set for the second half. Cristiano Carlos makes his debut in 2026. The forward from New England's academy set to go to Fairfield. Chance Malillo the change for Cincinnati. As here's a spring ahead. Wide Eagle try, and it's saved off the line. A near disaster for New England, but Weinstein keeps it out, and it'll be a Cincy corner to start the second half. A huge sigh of relief for the Revs as Darlene touched it, seemingly a block, and it just barely goes off of Weinstein out of play. This will drive the first corner of the second half, only 45 seconds in. Back in, headed wide. Already Cincinnati firing on all cylinders. New England have a counter punch in them, but couldn't get it towards Carlos. Here comes a wide open lane once again for Charlie Holmes. Holmes. Up top it goes, Orejuela. Chips it. Couldn't get there, was Malillo. So with Christian Fletcher coming out of the game, that pretty much does it in terms of anyone with any significant first-team experience in this match. Everyone pretty much on the entire bench section. This will be a free kick towards Cincy. Either second teamers or academy products with the first team on break for the World Cup. And even some of the second team regulars who are signed to first team contracts are involved in that hiatus also. as Ayub Lashar will eat the contact, the former UConn Husky. He was a late round draft pick this past season, is Lashar. Rookie season. And the free kick for Oreharena. Oreharena elevates, headed down, but offside. We're Cincy. Absolutely nothing on the timeline in the first half. No cards, no goals. First substitutions came right at the halftime break. Malillo hustling back. Hurtado's got Mosquera outside. Cincinnati are on the hunt once again as this will draw another corner. Sooner or later, Cincinnati will have to break through. They've already got 7 attempts. Not just their shots, but their corners. Haven't made anything of it yet. Just anything they can do to try to increase that -9 goal differential so far this year, which is pretty much been a large signification of how much they've been struggling this year. Maybe something inward, but not there. A wall of white pokes it way out of the box. Hurtado, turnover. The deep ball will go towards Mackay Wells. Taking contact, and now a New England free kick. And seemingly they're trying to wave on some medical help. And if I am not mistaken, that is a red card in the hand of our lead official, Deborah Madera. That is a red card in her hand. Wells got up. Hurtado took the contact. As Dylan Hurtado is the one getting checked out. You had Wells pretty much streaking on a breakaway, and then it seems like Hurtado just full-on bear hugs Wells down to ground. Still has yet to show that red card, and Hurtado very uncomfortable too, maybe on the way down to the ground, had his legs tangled up with Mackay Wells. Hurtado, one of 2 returning players on this FC Cincinnati back 4 for today's game. The Colombian, 19 years old, in his second year with Cincy. The other being Will Kiesel, who is one of the center backs. He's a 3-year member of Blue and Orange. We still have that red card in the hand of the official, yet to raise it officially. Especially when you consider that Mackay Wells was essentially on the breakaway. especially the platform of MLS Next Pro, just allowing these guys to learn and develop their way through, and Hurtado at the very least makes his way up. Wells very much the last man back. Hurtado just gets the full bear hug there, and he points right to his right leg as soon as he gets up, and that'll do it for the night of Dylan Hurtado. Very gingerly getting off the field with much needed assistance. So you have the set piece to deal with for Cincy. You have the red card to Hurtado to deal with as well. Officially a 53rd minute red card to Dylan Hurtado. New England were already missing Oyerwath, who was suspended for a game after taking a red card last time out against Crown Legacy. So similar situation, but for New England, they'll be on the positive end of the man-up sequence. Free kick coming to New England, 11v10. Zambrano lines it up, but high. Now, how does this change now that you have this red card in the mix? You take the last game versus Crown Legacy, especially because New England were on the front foot throughout that match. They had the 2-1 lead before Oyerwath took a red card 1 minute into the second half against Crown Legacy, putting New England down a man. The yellow card gets given to Niang. So that's back-to-back cards against Cincy. New England got through their 11v10 scenario in PKs, just talking about how that was a character game for New England to get through against the top team of the East in Crown Legacy. How can Cincy respond against a team that is riding the playoff line in New England, who are a single point away from the top three in the conference? 3 points away potentially from being top two in the conference are New England. This will be a big task for FC Cincy to dig in and find something. They might get the benefit of a New England side that have had similar offensive struggles to Cincy, however, not to as great of a degree. Cincy are an effective shooting team, just don't get a lot of attempts. They have the fewest in the league, but for New England, they're in the bottom 10, so they can at least get their chances, get their opportunities. Cincy will claim it back. It'll be Charlie Holmes by the flag. Stays with Cincinnati. New England in the white. They'll start this second half going left to right. Right to left will be Cincy in the all blue with the orange trim. Have to keep blue jerseys. Long throw upcoming, but held on easily by Max Weinstein. And given right back to Cincinnati on the throw-in. This portion of the match is brought to you by Ball & Gainer, the official wealth management partner of FC Cincinnati. Well, at least if you're Cincinnati, you'll take the freebie. Lost the last 3 matches prior to this evening were Cincinnati. 2 of those 3 matches, they got shut out. They got blanked out against NYC and blanked out against Huntsville as Da up the middle, dancing through the D. Carlos. Wells drew the red card, dancing through. Zambrano stutters. Da had it roll slowly, and it's collected by Connor Dale. The 15-year-old has been perfect so far in his next pro debut. 2 saves on 2 shots on target. Only had 1 previously. That second one from Da could be the second as Zambrano holds on again. Zambrano loads up and just misses. You also had a man down near center, but this was the last opportunity from Zambrano. Good recovery by Wells to slide it in the open space. That is the man who is down. It's Wells. Might have paid a bit of a price to get that ball over to the loanee from Real Monarchs, Carlos Zambrano. Niang takes it. As we approach the hour, 0s on the board. Cincinnati a man down, but have a potential leg up on this free kick try. It'll be Leo Orejarena. Low driver, headed down, still scrambling. Mosquera picks it out. Malilo with Mosquera. Orejarena. Comes across, too short for Niang. Foot race is won by Carlos, out of play. New England have been up a man for nearly 10 minutes and have not been able to make anything count so far. New England 3 points away from number 2 Red Bull New York, 1 point away from number 3 in the East Columbus. They'll have to lock in and find something special on the attacking end of things, especially against a Cincinnati side that are amongst the right outside actually of the top 10 in terms of the most goals allowed. A very middle of the pack offense. Middle of the pack defense, pardon, is Cincinnati, but that is Samuel Achiker who does get involved to sweep it out. Darlene inside. Zambrano, the former Syracuse Orange, leads it. Da, Morgan, back to Da. He holds it, and it's denied by Dale. Offside, or corner, sorry. That's a corner for New England. What a play by Jaden Da to link up with Miles Morgan. Morgan went back to Da in the middle, but seemingly trying to force things with his left foot allowed time for Dale to recover and make the save. Judas Akira, the service. Low driver up top, Smith. And Zambrano. The arch doesn't land, but it's back towards The center of the field, Smith. Miles Morgan from distance and punched out by Dale. Morgan, top of the area, lets it fly too high. This was the last opportunity for New England. Miles Morgan has been trying to find something, especially because he leads his club in goals right now. Trying to make something work, not quite yet. Maybe some reinforcements for Revs, as Makai Wells will go to the bench. Maybe some change-ups with Levi Katzel making his way into the game. As this was that second opportunity from Miles Morgan. Maybe a foot over the bar. As that one also could have been tested by Wells, but regardless, we are still with zeros across the board. Levi Katzel, the 16-year-old from Czechia. As more academy products continue to have their involvement in this game. That deflects off of Da. Numbers back for New England. Da stopped, rebound, loose, cleared out, still bouncing. Morgan cleared. Disaster averted for Cincy. New England still can't jam it home. Holmes the other way. Holmes tests Prajapati. Holmes across, blocked. Back in the mix, Orehorena. He's got Malilo. Instead, elects to reset to Lasher. Orehorena. Niang calling for it. Zambrano with eyes, and Cincy will retreat. And the reset is for Connor Dale. This portion of the match is brought to you by Skyline Chili, official partner of FC Cincinnati. New England on the hunt. The flag goes up. Much to the frustratingly chagrin of Jared Smith. This was the last opportunity after the fumble by Connor Dale. Just got it off of Da, and then it's just pure scramble mode for Cincy, and they held off nicely. Morgan couldn't get it through. Another try. Morgan again before it's off the line. You had Latchiker, Lashar, and Kiesel all getting in there. Two more changes are coming for Cincy. And they'll have two more of their multi-year regulars coming into the mix. It is Latchiker who will come out. Same goes for Orehorena, as Yair Ramos and Camden Spire will be the two to take their place. Spire, the 17-year-old Brit. Ramos, as that is some heavy contact on Dale. They have to be careful as they're already down a man. Carlos took a bump into Dale, and then a shove a little bit later on by Lashar. And things have gotten testy in this match. Yellow card in the hand. And could there maybe be some retaliation for Lashar, or maybe for Cristiano Carlos for just running into Dale inside of the box? So he's within the confines of his crease, and he does technically own the area. But yellow cards for Da and for Lashar. So one apiece. And if you want to keep the piece, that is one way to do it. So you just have Lashar. He retreats it back for Dale. Takes contact. So we saw Lashar get a yellow card, which probably came from the shove to Carlos, and then Da comes in after the matter from way out of the play to confront Lashar, and that's where you get the coincidental yellow cards there. But message both sent and received. So you will also get the Cristiano Carlos yellow as well. So 3 came out of that sequence. Lashar, Da, and New England going ahead. So Carlos got the contact. Da was away from the play, and then the retaliatory shove from Lashar. All things considered, not too egregious, especially for how that sequence panned out. Probably about what you'd expect. Gabe Darlene up the gut. Jaden Da dancing through. First try blocked. Da tries to escape. Da widens. Carlos served across. Doesn't get to Darlene. Mosquera hustles. "20 minutes to go in game 1 of 4 on the Sunday slate. Still scoreless between Cincinnati and New England. New England haven't scored on their 13 attempts and their 5 on target yet. Outside, Jaden Da galloping through. Da to middle. Couldn't get by Dale, and he collects. This portion, before we get to that, that's the last replay of that last sequence. Zambrano going outside, and you have the stutter step there by Da, maybe trying to do it a little bit himself. You did have Morgan, who was well guarded. And Mosquera coughs it up back to New England. This portion of the match is brought to you by Ohio Cat, official partner of FC Cincinnati. Final change coming as Niang is coming out. Matias Vasquez will take his place. Niang does have a yellow card from earlier in the match. Niang spent last season in the first division of Honduras with FC Montagua. Vasquez comes into Cincinnati for his first season this year, replaces the tower of a man that is the Senegalese forward Niang. To head, Miles Morgan just missed. How many times have New England just been off by maybe a foot or so and just been right on the cusp? What a service from Smith. Morgan was all by himself, got the header through, And had that been maybe another foot to the left, that could have gone bar in. But a huge sigh of relief in Cincy. Contact against Cincinnati. Deborah Madera still directing the traffic, especially after the red card was given to Dylan Hurtado back in the 53rd. Christian Little, Christopher Slane, Alex Beeler, the rest of the crew in yellow. And they've had quite their fair share of work. Especially having to make that decision of the automatic red 20 minutes ago. Rajpati leads it. Carlos. And well played by Lashar to get out of his own end and force things away from his defensive box. Following up, Rajapati to Da. Jack Shannon, the last man back with Darlene. Cincinnati hang on and eat up time. And for Cincinnati, any chance they have to possess and take things away from their defensive box is a beneficial one, especially down a man in a tie game still. Another change is coming up for Pablo Moreira. Sherrod George will take the place of Jaden Da. That's change number 3 made by Pablo Moreira. With 15 minutes remaining in regulation before they go straight to PKs, if needed. But when you're just having a bad shooting day, like New England are, 5 on target from 14 attempts, that can most certainly hamper things. Trying to maintain the momentum that they had in a May and a March where they were unbeaten. We will take a break here for the hydration break. It is still a steamy 82-degree day here in Highland Heights. And you really have to take a look at how things are going to go for these teams going forward. Because of the World Cup break, the first team, they're going to be on break throughout that entire time, which both coaches are expecting to really allow that to get really deeper looks in their second team and academy guys. Some of their top-end academy guys that they might want to bring up onto the second team, a bit of a condensed break for them, considering that they had the MLS Next Cup just a few weeks back over in Utah. And then the first teams, respectively, they are on break, and anyone on a first-team contract, they are allotted that break. But either by a coach's decision or circumstance, or in the case of Christian Fletcher return to injury, they could get an opportunity to play here and there with the respective second teams, but that might not be an issue for either Coach Castellanos or Coach Moreira until about 2 to 3 weeks from now. And then for maybe anyone who doesn't necessarily know, but Cincinnati's facilities are going to be wide open for them for New England. Even though their home games are going to be played at Bryant University in Rhode Island, they do have some of their facilities being occupied, with the first team stadium, Gillette, being a part of the pool of stadiums playing World Cup matches in Gillette, or rather Boston Stadium. With the final staying within the Northeast in the New York, New Jersey Stadium, the temporary name for MetLife, over in East Rutherford. MLS Next Pro still in play throughout the tournament. One of the interesting comparisons that were actually made about this World Cup break with Sammy Castellanos was kind of likening it to when the parents are out of town and the kids are asked to take care of the house. There could be a little bit of organized chaos here and there, but as long as everything gets fixed and nothing gets broken and things overall get taken some good care, then all is well. Attempted move there by Katzel gets disrupted. Cincinnati still aggressive once again. But instead it'll roll all the way back to Weinstein, who spent about 5 months last year over in Estonia in their second division to conclude 2025. But after his brief stint in Eastern Europe, Weinstein comes back to New England, a place that he's very familiar with, coming back home for a 5th season in Next Pro, as Zambrano's cross denied, out of play. Sullivan got in the way. And now you have a man down inside of the area for Cincy as the final 10 minutes have come in Highland Heights. All is well. Corner number 8 for New England. Corner number 4 for New England, pardon. Header is off the line. Dale. Dale has been sharp in his Next Pro debut. He had to be on the lookout once again. You had all sorts of bodies inside of the 6. Jack Shannon, the one with the contact before it gets cut down by Dale. Shannon arrived in the offseason from UNC Wilmington. With the North Carolina product, makes his first professional run with Revs 2. Carlos ahead. And a yellow card given to Cincinnati once again. Just had the late shoulder-to-shoulder contact by the substitute Yair Ramos, the Venezuelan youth international. Ramos takes the booking, and this will be a free kick right on the line. Eight minutes left to go in regulation. Zambrano right on the edge of the box. Zambrano curls it out. After controlling the tempo and the pace of this game in the first half, New England have been able to make something of the second half, probably not to their expectation. Cincinnati were actually leading the shot attempt department in the first half, but New England have since doubled up on Cincy throughout the span of this game. That last free kick attempt that was missed by Zambrano was their 16th shot, compared to Cincinnati's 7. As David Mosquera will head to the bench, this will allow Logan Azar to come in. Logan Azar, another 15-year-old for FC Cincinnati, not just their keeper, Dale. or Plarin. That's Gio Marioni who makes the entry. And another yellow card gets given, and this will be a second red to Cincy. Oh my word! What just happened? New England will go up 11-9. Just as Giovanni Marioni makes his entry into the match, a bit of late contact on the behind of Cristiano Carlos. And just like that, New England have a two-man advantage. Right as Marioni subs in for Mosquera, Lachar gets his second yellow. Now, can New England make something out of it? Sequeira sliding it by, doesn't get through. Maybe a chance for Cincy, bouncing around. Another slide from behind. This will draw a yellow card. And it has just been cards all over for Cincy. Marioni's only been in the match for about a minute. 2.5 to be exact for Marioni, gets the yellow. Already 11-9. The double yellow to Lachar only moments ago. And the straight red from Dylan Hurtado in the 53rd. A chance outside. Carlos keeps it in, across, and out. Five minutes for New England to put their stamp. They've been up one man for most of the half. Crossing is held on by Dale. Maybe some more reinforcements on the attack coming for Pablo Moreira. Matt Baptiste takes a spot alongside the fourth official as Miles Morgan fights to keep it in play, but to a Cincy throw-in. And this is where the change is going to be made. So Matt Baptiste will be making his way in as Prajapati does come out. That is a forward for midfielder switch up, so they're trying to put some extra numbers ahead. Prajapati started this game in the right back slot, so maybe trying to shift some things upward. But New England not doing themselves any favors if they just cough up possession to Cincy, especially on these dead ball spots. Cincy, a team 2 weeks off after a 3-game and 7-day stretch. You go from 3 games in a week to their first game in 2 weeks, and maybe a little bit of rest and recovery have allowed them to revitalize themselves mentally. With where New England's goals lie within the standings, could be a potential confidence booster for the guys of Sammy Castellanos. Not just having held on for nearly a half, 10v11, but now they have to look out 9v11. Carlos, sky high, towards a corner. Carlos Zambrano, outward, slapped out, still loose, doesn't get there. As it's whistled inside of the area regardless. Cincinnati have yet to hold a shutout of their own this season. They have been kept off the scoreboard 4 times, which accounts for half of their 8 losses. But they're on the cusp of hanging on as New England are still on the charge. Great poke out of play. As this will also draw things towards Cincinnati again. In their last 3 matches of May, Cincinnati had to deal with a combined 9-1 goal differential against them, including 2 shutouts. Cincinnati only have a singular shutout to their name. That was in their first match of April against NYCFC. Would retaliate at the end of May to have a 2-0 shutout, which was the last match for Cincy. But for Cincinnati, maybe something to take away from PKs. They have yet to go to PKs this year. But maybe New England have a chance to come up with something in the clutch. Morgan has Zambrano far side. Zambrano gets spilled. Spire got tangled. 7 extra minutes. We're through 1 of them. Will the dam finally break for Cincy? Or will they pull off the improbable? Taking at least 1 point, maybe both, with not 1 but 2 send-offs. Zambrano to serve. 2 minutes deep of 7. Into the box, had it out. Still with New England. Zambrano opens up, and it is smothered by Dale. Two minutes deep of 7, where Connor Dale is 7 for 7. MLS next pro debut for the 15-year-old U16 Youth International is Connor Dale. Between the pipes for Cincinnati. Dahlin, the Swede. Sakara. Katzel. That went off of Marioni. Service is in, and it's caught by Connor Dale. If everything holds, this could be 2 consecutive month opening matches for Cincinnati where they held off an opponent on the scoreboard. 1-0 in the opening game of April to beat NYCFC. They beat Toronto 5-0 and are about 3.5 minutes away, halfway through the added 7 of keeping things scoreless against New England. Maybe not threatening to take the full 3 in regulation with the man disadvantage, but maybe just hold on for PKs. Sliding through, Kiesel had to force it out. You had Miles Morgan, the leading goal scorer for the Revs, breathing down his neck. And this will draw corner number 7 to New England. Zambrano, down, out. No matter what happens after tonight's match, New England will be back in Rhode Island at Bryant University. 2 consecutive home games in Rhode Island with a tough task towards the top of the table. They'll have to backpedal as they have Red Bull New York coming to Rhode Island in the next game, where New England could at least be within a single game of Red Bull in second before they host Chicago Fire on the 21st. Chicago only about a game and a half away from the playoff line. They'll be a little desperate to come in, and Toronto within the mix that they're tied with going into today. Away from Darlene. Follow-up from Yair Ramos. And Ramos might just be content eating clock and taking penalties. Cincinnati have yet to have a tie this season. A scoreless tie, despite leading the league with 7 PK wins last year. One of the reasons why they made the playoff race were those extra bonus points, especially with how tight things were at the playoff line a year ago to end the season. Those bonus points for Cincinnati added up and helped them get into the top 8 before they were promptly dispatched by Philly Union 2 in the opening round, but even making it with those bonus points in hand. In the middle, no one to receive, captained by Darlene. Another high arc. That goes all over the place as we're in the final minute of 7. Katzel, Zambrano, dancing through, Darlene, back for Zambrano, Zambrano scores! Carlos Zambrano in the clutch! New England have won! The perfect send-off in Cincy! Zambrano's been all over the field looking for his opportunity. A great give and go with Darlene as the extra space gets Zambrano all by himself, buries it in the roof of the net. And New England finally 15 minutes, 11v9, and almost 40 minutes of a man-up sequence. Just when it looked like Cincy could have gone to penalties for the first time this year, that gets snatched from them by Revs. Dislodged, alone, Morgan on Dale, he'll boot it away. And that will be it. The Revs rarely late to send things off in Cincinnati. They'll claim the full 3 as their unbeaten run extends to 6 straight. 1-0 the final at NKU. Our player of the match is presented by Adidas. And what a way to walk it off on the road in Cincinnati. Carlos Zambrano in the 90-plus, give and go, back and forth with Darlene. Darlene will likely get an assist on that play as Zambrano buries it. He absolutely smashes that one through the roof for his 2nd goal of the season. Ties the team lead 4 total goal contributions. And Carlos Zambrano in the clutch with the perfect send-off in Cincinnati for Revs 2, making the most of their man up and even their 2 men up. Don't forget to watch MLS Next Pro all season long at MLSNextPro.com and OneFootball. New England Revolution gained the full 3 in Cincinnati, and they are right in reach with Red Bull New York tied at 2nd in the Eastern Conference table. For our entire MLS Next Pro broadcast crew, my name is Ryan Lee. Thank you for joining us. Have a great rest of your night.
This copyrighted broadcast of Major League Soccer may not be retransmitted, reproduced, or rebroadcast without the express written consent of Major League Soccer.